leadership style, how I do things, comes from the way I was brought up at home. Comes from my parents. Comes from my grandparents. Comes from my uncles. If I could give one man credit for something that I learned in corporate America about working and taking care of people, is a man by the name of John Connor. I'm gonna mention him because he was my one of the bosses at a company I worked at years ago when I used to sell money. I used to be a loan broker, right? And I was doing this at the same time, by the way. But I remember going to him and my direct manager and I were in the office, and he asked my direct manager, "What's the problem with Dennis? What's going on?" And the manager said, "Well, he wants more money." So I looked at John. He says, "Is that right?" I said, "Yeah." He says, So John then looks at my direct manager and says, "Just pay the man." And that always stuck with me. He made it so simple. He said, "Just pay the man." And I remember vividly when the meeting was over, John's had me stop and he talked to me for a little while. And he explained to me why he did what he did. He says, "Listen, I know you're a producer. I know you do well. You know, you run a good team out there." And he said, "What do I got to do to make you happy?" I said, I want to be an outside rep. I want to leave. I can do this from home. I'm tired of babysitting." He says, "Fine. When do you want to start?" I said, "Tomorrow." He says, "Fine. Go right ahead." So what I learned from John was the key is pay the man, right? Pay people. Pay them what they're worth. Okay? I'm saying it again. Pay people what they're worth, and they will do whatever you need them to do. They will bend over backwards. They will go the extra mile. They will take care of you so you can sleep, or you can go make some more money, or do something else, or buy new clients. But you got to take care of your people. So I have to give kudos to John Connor for that, because he taught me that. And I use that all the time to this day in my business practice. I pay people, right? And I take care of them. And I get the results. So, but outside of that, everything else I learned in business, as far as business, my college didn't teach me anything about business. I learned what I learned from business in the real world, and I learned a lot of those things from my parents and my grandparents. And I use what I learned from my grandfather to this day in this industry, in this business. I got all my mechanical skills from him. I was pulling engines out of cars when I was 10 and 12 years old and putting them back in, doing all type of mechanic works. I was certified mechanic when I was 15. I learned that from my grandfather, right? So he taught me how to do carpentry. He taught me how to pour concrete. He taught me everything. He taught because my grandfather and my uncle and my dad they were men amongst men. Is what moves, motivates, and drives me to this day. Because I still refer back to my ancestors for encouragement. I still refer back to my grandfather right now, to my uncles, to my aunt, to my dad. Right, these men were the men that gave me my work ethic. So, yeah, that's where it comes from.